Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. I have the most amazing guest for you guys today. I'm here with Jess from BaBotanics. We are talking all things self-care and why self-care is not a luxury, it's an essential. So, welcome, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This is such a huge topic for me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, awesome. Yes. So, Jess is a facialist, but very much your bubble is all about self-care and how important that is from a holistic point of view. Maybe tell everyone a little bit about your background, a bit about BaBotanics and what you're all about.
Yeah, awesome. So I am the founder of BaBotanics Boutique. So BaBotanics Boutique is a self-care and skincare studio, which is based in Paddington in Brisbane. It's beautiful. It's lovely here. I've actually got a background in massage, so Swedish massage, which is something that I had done a long, long time ago, and then got into the corporate world, hustle and bustle. Was working in the government for about 10, 12 years, private sector as well. And just leaving sort of the technology sector, which is in mining. So a lot of male driven energy, like a lot of stress, and a lot of stress on a day-to-day basis. So coming back to working with women where it's where we get to sort of connect, and also where I can have somebody leave the room just so happy, like so vibrant. It's completely opposite to technology, where usually technology, people are so angry. So I love coming back to it, where we can help women unwind, reconnect, nourish their skin, their nervous system, and also understand how stress relates to skin and how skin is sometimes a mirror of the stress that's going on inside of us.
Yeah, I was
that's pretty much it.
I was listening to your socials yesterday, and you were talking about nervous system and stress and your skin, and I'm a absolute big believer in that. Like, my skin can even sometimes predict what's coming for me, like, because it's in your nervous system already. So, like, how do you think what you do connects with that? Like, how do you connect with women on, like, that stress level and what you do? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so BaBotanics actually came from me being in quite a place of anxiety. So coming through COVID 2020, and I also had a lot of other stuff that was going on in my life, that I just had, like, I was too anxious to even bother looking for what I needed. Actually looking for, like, I wanted to do more with my skin, with myself, but having to find that information just gave me a lot of anxiety and overwhelm. But I had already had a lot of anxiety and overwhelm in my life. So that's why I was like, I wanted something that was just kind of supported me in that way. And so that's why I started having a look at nourishing natural skincare. And along the journey, understanding about skin, I learned about a term called psychodermatology, which is really about how your skin affects your mental health, and your mental health affects your skin, and how there is some connectivity there. So that's like the real sort of extreme levels of things. But then coming back to thinking about, so for example, you're in a meeting or something, you're stressed out and you're starting to flush and your skin's showing some redness, or you're going through a stressful period and then you start getting a tingle because you're often somebody who gets cold sores, or it's stuff like that. Yeah, I know. And my you can get nose, like, these things happen, but we don't really think about them too much outside of when you know that you're actually about having that problem. So I really wanted to tap into that side of things. So looking
Yeah.
after your skin when you're looking after your insides as well. And then, you know, from the holistic side of things, understanding that you're nourishing your outside, and that's actually making impact on how you're feeling on the inside with your nervous system.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff that I've been looking into as well about touch, and the touch of your face in particular, like around the scalp area, and then how that is connected to your brain through your nerves. So I think it is a really, you know, coming from like a busy corporate world woman, it's a really effective way to do something which is good for your inner health and your stress and, you know, your anxiety, but it actually makes you feel good as well, like relaxed. And
100.
yeah, so it's kind of like just like an efficient way to do things that feels good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't want it to be skincare to be a chore. I wanted it to be enjoyable. And, you know, there's all of these reasons why it's more than enjoyable. It's more than just relaxation. It's actually doing something to your insides.
Yeah. I love that. And I have to admit, I'm not one to do enough self-care stuff. And I did have a facial last year that I got for a birthday, like years ago, years literally. And I came out and I was like, why did I do this more often? This is crazy. So I think it's just also like, you know, putting it above just special occasion. Oh, I'll go and get a facial. I think it's
Mm,
more than that, right? It's like really something that has to be part of
100%.
your routine. Like, but not just. I think because
Yeah.
I'll
And
definitely
even yeah,
do
yeah,
it for do it just for, you know, special occasion, just to treat myself. When in actual fact, it kind of is like a big peak and trough then, right? Instead of like managing that, you know, because managing your inside and looking after your outside.
yeah, exactly. And if you think about it, another thing to notice is, you know, when somebody's going through a period of stress, so say you're concentrating on something, or, you know, you're working on a report or something like that, or someone, you know, is irritating you, you automatically go to touch your head. You touch your temples, you may be touching there, you automatically are reaching for your head, because that is something where your body is trying to balance things out and you're hitting these areas that self-soothe. And so facial massage is really powerful because we get to get somebody else to self-soothe us, you know.
Yeah.
You're actually putting pressure, and that is automatically soothing your nervous system. So yeah, it is, you know, stuff that you can do at home as well by touch and different sorts of areas. It's definitely not as nice as if you were getting someone else to do it, but you know, if you're really like dialed in to what you're doing, you'll be able to just feel how much more relaxed you can be just by pushing on different areas of your face.
Oh, I love that. I also think it's also about prioritizing yourself, right? I don't know, as women, I don't think we're great at always
100%.
doing that, you know, making ourselves a priority. I
Yep.
definitely have learned that the hard way becoming a mum. I was like putting myself way down the bottom, not filling my cup enough with all the things that make you feel good. So definitely making that a priority in, you know, everyday life. Do you have some small ways that you think, like some daily things that you can suggest for those who might struggle to fully immerse themselves into self care, that are like
Yeah.
easy daily habits,
Yep.
simple things that we can start with, to help us getting on that track?
Definitely. So there's a couple of simple things that you can start with that automatically just bring everything down and slows everything down, because that's what happens when we're stressed, when we're anxious. Everything's kind of happening so fast and you're not really
Mm.
feeling like you're in control of what's happening. You're kind of just reacting and dealing with it. So taking, you know, a couple of minutes to do some breath work. I know sometimes, like, if you're not like a breath work kind of person, and you're like
Oh,
it sounds like a bit woo woo, but Another
A
thing
good
that
thing
people will
though.
automatically do, yeah, automatically you'll do this. And, if you're a mum, you probably have done it, coming up to your pregnancy. I'm not a mum, so I'm just like seeing people. But the blowing through a straw, so
Yes.
really, really slow through the straw. Like I do that a lot. That calms my heart because I do get a lot of heart flutters, palpitations, chest pains. I
Yes.
am a stressy girl. um, I also I love a cup of tea and, calming teas like chamomile, peppermint. Yeah, really taking some time to unwind when you can. And even if that is taking 5 minutes in the morning where you just step out and you step in the sun and you have your cup of tea and you have that moment in your cup. And then another thing that I like to do, and I also like to stack all of these things together, is um, how to dramatize a moment or really sort of make a moment romantic. So if you're thinking about where you are at the moment, I like journaling, so this is something that comes easy to me, but it might be a little bit harder for somebody else. But to think about prompts of something that is in your area. So it's another way to get some grounding and really start to do some sort of being present and mindful. So for me, I'm touching the towel on the bed. And so if I wanted to romanticize that moment, I would think about how soft the towel is, how nice it is in this moment,
Yeah.
how nice it is, the sun that's coming through. So really thinking about those little moments and how would you fluff that up a little bit, because your brain hears that. So if you're outside in the sun, oh, this is so nice, like take a deep breath. I think there's ways that you can bring down your heart rate if you're taking your breath in through your nose and then out through your mouth. Like there's certain ways to do things to get more oxygen into your body, which actually calms things down. And then you're holding your warm cup of tea, which is a lovely herbal tea, and you're thinking about how warm it is and how lovely it is to be in that moment. So that's just one small second where it's a micro moment where you've really extended that time because you've been very intentional about being mindful and being in that moment, and you get control of that situation, you get that time back. So if you had a ritual of doing that every single day, imagine how much that could impact your life.
Yeah, I love that. And I kind of do a version of that, but I probably don't romanticize it like you said. And it's funny you say that. I literally saw something today. Someone posted a story and she was like walking along with her coffee and she was like, don't forget to romanticize your day. So it's so interesting that you've said that today. And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'm going to
Yeah.
try that. I love that. I think that's so nice. What a great way to start
Yeah.
your day.
Yeah.
Every day. That's so awesome.
Yeah, exactly right. And even if you do have the time, maybe the morning gets away from you. If you're not somebody who really knows like where to begin when you journal, because this is something, I started journaling in about 2020 and now it's like I can write books.
Yeah.
But I was just like, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to write? That's when you can start romanticizing your day, perhaps. What did you do for the day? And imagine if you made that into a K-pop drama or something and just
I
like
love that.
fluff things up a bit. Because when you
Yeah.
go back and have your day, you're like, oh my God, what a wonderful moment.
I love that. That's so cool. I love that. I'm a big fan of journaling too. I do find that I get blocks, but that's a really good way to look at it. I think, journaling is one of those things when you start out, I think it's a tricky thing to do, but then I think once you get into the rhythm of it, same thing, you can write so much, right? It's amazing what can come out in a good old journal.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so what
Exactly.
about
And it's,
if we
there's different.
yeah, so what about if we flip over to the skincare side of things? I'd be really interested to talk about this. So like talking skincare rituals, like because for me, like I have to admit, I really haven't got much into skincare really until I've started aging, which is not ideal. I mean, I was a very basic sunscreen and moisturizer girl for a whole lot, like a big chunk of my early days, but obviously more important now. But like, I guess I never really looked at skincare and things like in that whole self care, but I've really started to embrace that so much as I'm aging. Can you talk a little bit about like, what are your like rituals, like essential skincare, especially for those of us who are busy and it's like, one of those easy things to forget and just not do, and I don't have time, and all of those excuses that we give ourselves.
Literally. And I think, it's another reason why I've reached for products in BaBotanics that smell good and feel good as well.
Mm.
Because it like skincare is a chore for me too. I am just like, oh God, I cannot be bothered. How many times have I gone to bed with makeup on? I just can't deal. But so this is something that I really wanted to make an enjoyable experience, a bit of a spa experience. And I really, I think that we should uncomplicate the things. I think we came out of a time where I guess everyone was on TikTok looking at, all of these 10 care step programs. The market is booming for skincare. So there's a lot of stuff telling you exactly what you need, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, it's too much. It's too much to take in. But yeah, so it's a lot. For, yeah, every day in the nighttime, definitely a gentle hydrating cleanser. So I think the majority of people who come to me will have dry skin, especially if this is something that you're not really into, like skincare. I find a lot of my clients who have who aren't really interested in skincare will have dry, dehydrated skin. So a gentle hydrating cleanser will help with that. It'll also help repair your skin barrier. Making sure that you're nourishing your skin barrier and looking after your skin health is something that is going to make skincare a lot more easier for you because you don't have to do it as much. We talk about blokes who literally just roll out of bed, use a bar of soap for their hair and their face and everything else you can imagine, and they're right to go and they've got great skin. They don't overcomplicate things, so they've got a great skin barrier. So just ensuring that you've got a very gentle cleanser and cleansing your skin in the nighttime will help. Also, using a really nourishing moisturizer at nighttime, that will sustain your skin throughout the day. So in the morning, if you just wanted to wash your face with some cold water before slapping on some sunscreen for the day, totally fine. All good. Your skin will be great. But yeah, just uncomplicating things. If you want to take it to that next level, adding a multitasking serum, so something that smells really nice, you might go for a vitamin C, which is really great. If you are 35 above, you might want to use a vitamin A, a retinoid, and start very, very, very gentle. A couple of things will be really super effective, and then you won't need to do too much. So, if you wanted to focus on a couple of serums, if you do have that sort of dry skin, I would be mindful when you're using a vitamin A if you haven't used it before and you have dry skin, because it can start to strip and take, and because your skin's starting to repair itself a lot quicker.
Yeah.
It just, you'd have to microdose it until your skin gets used to it. But it is highly effective, recommended a lot of the way. A vitamin C in the morning as a serum will really help with the effectiveness of your SPF as well. Vitamin C enhances zinc, and zinc protects your skin. So, I always like to think of, for somebody who isn't, obsessed with skincare, a health first approach is always something else that you can use to looking after your skin. So, multi-action things, and thinking about things that pair up nice with other things that support yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like that's you can go anywhere and somebody will be able to help you. Like if you go into a spa, a dermatologist, if you hit me up and chat to me,
Yes.
I'll be able to step you through what is easy and
Yes.
gentle. But yeah, the message is less is more, and just be gentle with your skin. Respect it, because as soon as you start slapping on heaps of things, it just agree.
I definitely feel like that has always been my thing, is I've stepped away because I'm like, it's so complicated. There's too much stuff, and it's like, what do you choose? And like, I don't know enough about it to know if I'm wrecking my skin or not wrecking my skin. So I think like simplicity is like, that definitely appeals to me. And I'm there, but look, I mean, I'm sure I'll see you and you'll be like, you need this, this, and this.
Simplicity is key, but also one thing that like totally grinds my gears about a lot of the marketing that is out there is the amount of jargon that is complicated. Like it's for somebody who does not care and just wants something that's going to help them. I'm not going to sift through and understand the jargon that is out there to know what I want. I don't care about it. I don't have that next level of care so yeah, I think, the way a lot of that information out there has always bothered me. So I've been very intentional with the language that I use and the content that I have and the way that I've put my products and the information on my products together to try and step away from that jargon and make it really, really easy for somebody to make a very educated decision on what they're going to pick and put on their skin. It needs to be sustainable. Otherwise, what's the point?
100%. I agree that is definitely a hurdle for a lot, especially time poor women. I think we're living in such a high paced lifestyle. Sometimes it's like, I just need quick, easy, and simple. And like you said, look, some of the jargon, I'm like, that's gone way over my head. So I've already lost interest, and I'm like, I just want something that's going to help me.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day. So I love that you're, keeping it that simple.
Yeah. And, have you ever walked into a Chemist Warehouse, Sephora, Priceline, Mecca and just gone, like, what?
Yes, 100%. There's just so
It's
much.
too much.
There's so much out there, right? And it's like, how does anyone make any kind of informed decision if they're not, like you said, really in depth into it, understands what they need and want, which is like not everyone. I think there is, a missing link there, 100%. So I love that you're keeping that simple, but I also love that you link your skincare and what you're doing in with, keeping the stress levels low, keeping it relaxed and calm. I mean, you're talking my language, basically.
Yeah.
I want to talk about something.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
I want to talk about something interesting. So you talk a lot on your socials and stuff about low tox, high vibe. I want you to expand on this because I think it's so great.
Yes. Okay. So high vibes is really just going on to like that low stress thing. So we're just, we're really enjoying all of the products that we're using. But also, so low tox, natural products. And I don't want to, so when your average person thinks about natural products, you tend to think about going to like a health food section and it's in this little niche area and it's all organic and you're not too sure about it. But I really want to try and bring up all of those products with natural ingredients in it, with, natural from the earth, because I think that your skin drinks what's in it. And if you've ever had, this is my feelings about it. If I've ever had something that isn't 100% like real food, so if I have something that's like fake, my tummy doesn't agree with it. It doesn't absorb it. So that's why I think having, a vitamin C that is actually made and from the earth, it's not always lab formulated. It's something that your skin is going to drink in a lot more efficiently and effectively than something, another product that has a bunch of filler in it, is lab made. Obviously not everything is going to be 100% organic or natural. There are going to be components that are lab made in different sorts of products, but I think your skin just soaks it up a lot more and is a lot more radiant from the inside out using those kind of products.
Yes.
And I've seen the difference in my skin. I've seen the difference in my client's skin as well, and the different ways that it feels when it's going onto the skin as well. I think it's a lot more effective. It can be a little bit more pricey at times, but if it's more efficient, it's kind of like you use 5 pumps of something that's crap, or you use like 1 pump of something that's actually nourishing. So I think it just feels. Yeah. So, there's a lot of ingredients in mainstream products that are also related to hormonal disruption, skin sensitivity. I know that I've got a lot of clients that have come in and they've been like, oh, my skin doesn't tingle. That was really cool, because they're used to their skin tingling when they use different products. So, once you start having a look at different sorts of products with more nourishing ingredients and use it, it feels better, then you know that this is like a better avenue for you, and there's, your skin tolerates better to these sorts of ingredients. It's not always going to be the same. Essential oil sometimes can aggravate skin as well, but it's just, trying different things and knowing how your skin and your body is going to react differently to different things. Because, everyone is just so unique. Everyone has different skin. Everyone tolerates things differently. So, yeah, I think, for me, natural has just been like top notch.
And look, I have done some changes over I think the last 5 years for me. I've changed, all my makeup is like natural now. A lot of the limited skincare I use is also, I mean, I had sensitive skin. So like growing up, I just stuck with what I knew that didn't inflame my skin and things like that, because there is so much out
Yeah.
there. It's like,
Yeah.
and you just don't know, like you said, this, even things can look like they're organic and they're not. So I think it's really like, there's so much out
Exactly.
there. You've got to really have a lot of knowledge. So I think someone like you has a lot of knowledge. It's so nice to hear this stuff, because I think it's a bit of a minefield for the rest of us, to be honest.
Exactly. And there's just, like we said, there's so much out there. And you're not expected to know exactly what the ingredients are when you have a look at them either. But it is comforting to flip over a product and go, oh, okay, that looks like it's got like a bunch of fruits and herbs and other things like I
Yes,
recognize. So I find that really comforting.
absolutely. So let's talk a little bit more about, like, obviously you and in the facial studio you have a whole different bunch of facials specifically for different, that are different things, and you're very intuitive on what you give a client based on, if it's stress. Or do you want to talk through a little bit about that? Because I feel like this is a real niche for your business, I love this because I feel like it's really connected to the client and their experience and what they're going through.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Particularly, so what I found with the clients that I have, because this isn't an aesthetic style of facial, this is something that's relaxing, but it's also nourishing with the different products that come in. So a lot of my clients that come in, they don't know what they want, but they're either, overwhelmed, stressed, or they want to, focus on a particular area of their body. So I started with having what I would call an intuitive facial. So what
Yes.
we would do is when the client would come in, I wouldn't follow a particular flow when it comes to massage. I would see where they would kind of like lean in a little bit more. Like,
Yes.
you can just say, oh, somebody like more than the other. So it was really custom made to how the client was feeling on the day. Sometimes they needed a little bit more on the neck, or sometimes they need a little bit more on the shoulders, or, sometimes they really just need to just zone out with a head massage. And it's been good because I've had different kinds of clients come in from, elderly women to the young girls to the husbands. And, I had a husband come in who was wearing a whoop. And so he really needed to relax. He just needed to unwind. And he had tried so many different things. And this was the only thing that proper lowered his heart rate to like 50 or something when he was on the bed, and nothing else had done that. So I was just like,
you're good now. Good.
This is awesome. Yeah. So good. So we've got that. It's the signature facial is something where I can really lean into how you're feeling, and then you get all of the products. You get the mask, head massage, everything else. Some people, because this is a facial studio, self-care, people to come in not really interested in all of that. We've got the tension facial, so that is 100% focused on facial massage, so getting rid of that tension, pressure, maybe in your jaw, maybe in your eyes, maybe in your forehead, maybe around, here. That sort of stuff happens when you're stressed out and like on the computer like this, or like scrolling, or when you're stressed, you kind of end up shrimping over more and more and more. So this just helps. So we've got that as well. Yeah, and then we've got some younger clients too who want more of a deep cleanse. So we've got like more of a cleanse focused facial as well. And we've also got holistic now. So if somebody wants to take it a little bit further and get their arms and hands massaged, and now we're also doing more of a body style treatment, because your body is all skin as well. So having like a facial for your body it's just like very luxurious.
That sounds divine.
So we've just got like a few, yeah. So we've got like a few of the different categories, but it's all for people who, you aren't your 10-step skincare program, you're not obsessed, or, if you are obsessed, you are obsessed with the facial massage and being able to get somebody who's really, really focused and intentional with a facial massage and a scalp massage.
Yeah, nice. I love all of it. One of everything, please. So let's talk a bit more about scheduling in. Do you kind of encourage your clients to schedule in like regular facials? Is that kind of, ideally what you want to do is have some kind of routine that makes you kind of commit to that self-care / looking after your skin. And like, what does that look like, or is it different for everyone?
Yeah, so definitely a monthly facial can go a long way. So because we're not using a ton of stripping products, generally when you see some other places, they might do resurfacing or start taking layers away. We're actually using a lot of nourishing products, so you could come every 2 weeks and it's not going to harm your skin. But it's very common to see somebody come in about once a month. The way that your skin cells repair themselves is every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on your age. Younger people will have cell turnover a lot faster than anyone who's getting a bit older. So it's just really trying to catch those times before you have your skin turnover, your skin cell turnover. So I like to schedule in for myself once a month, have that time locked in, and for me, that is dedicated time for me to do like a little bit of self-meditation, take some time out for myself, and really kind of just unpack my thoughts for that time block. I've got a lot of clients who do the same. They kind of got it locked in on a monthly basis. And, when you're a busy person, when you're a busy woman, 4 weeks comes around real fast. Real fast. And you're either like, yeah, or like, oh, thank God.
Yes. But I feel like either way, it's like if it's not scheduled in, I know I'd be like, oh no, I'll schedule it in, and then, like you said, it goes so fast, and then you're like, oh, it's been 2 months, whoops, So I think that regularity is so.
Exactly. And then it's booked out, it's not ready when you want to be. So it's just good to have it locked in, ready to go. You don't have to think about it. And then it comes up and you're like, oh, this is like a little treat for me. I can't believe past me did this for future me. That's so nice.
I know.
What a treat.
Totally. And I think it can help with, like you said, unpacking, all the craziness that we have locked in our brains. Even, like burnout and stuff like that, I still kind of suffer a little bit from the cycle of burnout. I'm definitely better than I used to be, but I do feel like having things like that in place help with that.
I hear you. Yeah, definitely. And same for me, just because, I mean, the whole reason why I have this business in the first place, because it is designed for me. It is
I love that.
100% designed for me. And yeah, things get busy, and we lose control of the day. So it is, taking some, it's having that forethought to go, okay, I'm actually just going to need to stop everything and then come and get a massage. And when you're getting a facial massage, the music is playing, so you can really shut down your mind from thinking, because you've got different things to focus on. So it's a lot more easier to meditate if you're not somebody who naturally can switch off your brain from, because you've got cues, you've got things to focus on. So one thing that I used to do, because I've always just been like busy, kind of crazy, is the first time I did yoga, I hated it, absolutely hated it. But the one yoga that I did love doing when I started, I love sleepy yoga right now, but when I started, when I was younger, was Bikram yoga, because you did not have a time to think. It is literally like this the whole way through, and there's cues like nonstop. So you can't think about anything else. And that was meditative for me, to have that time where you just can't focus on anything else. And that is such a break for your mental mind when you're coming through burnout. Or, even if you feel like it's coming on, or you're starting to feel overwhelmed, or you're starting to feel like, it's good to have something that just brings you back and grounds you. So with the facial massage, because you've got the points to focus on, if somebody's touching you like this, you really are trying to stay, like your brain is following along. And there's nothing else that you can really think about.
Yeah, I love that. That's why they're so relaxing then, right? Because your brain's like, oh, hang on, stop thinking about work. Oh, what are they doing? What are they touching? Where are they going? I love that.
Yeah, exactly. So exactly. And I always find when I start doing out.
So talk to me about the business. Obviously, you've got your new location, which is looking excellent. What's the plan? What's the future look
Thank
like?
you. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm like literally so grateful for you to come and have a look at this place and just help me with the flow. But yeah, so BaBotanics going on to the future. This is my first time coming into a space full time. So eventually, I want to get to a space where I am actually working in the business full time, not sort of struggling two different roles and context switching all the time. But it'll come with time. I think, as we start building as a business, it'll come to a space. Till then, I love being co-located in this wellness hub, because we've got psychologists, counselors, there's fertility clinic, there's Chinese medicine, acupuncture, naturopathy, like all of it, all in this holistic hub. So being a facial massage business who focuses on self-care, more the self-care, the natural products outside, instead of like aesthetics, and being, within a holistic hub, that's really, really important for the business and the message going out there. So it is going to take Yeah. So it's going to take some time, but I've got a big vision for BaBotanics Boutique, and I think that it does this a self-care space like this does not exist yet.
It doesn't. And I
I'm
think that's
convinced.
the thing that
If I
really
can
got
find a
me.
buddy, I would love it.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I would
the
love it if I
beautiful
found a
thing
buddy.
about your business is what you bring. It is so different, and I mean, I just started following you on socials just because we knew a say business owner, and I was like, this looks really interesting, and like I love what you do. I mean, yet to experience, but watch this space, guys. I'm going in to have a facial. Um, but I think it's nice. It's nice what you. I think the whole thing that you've created. I think it's just it is a niche, but I think it's like I don't know, and even going into the space and listening to you talk about your business and everything like that. I think it's just like you know your stuff and you've got this strong vision, and I love that because it's like a passion.
Yeah, and I think it's really new age too. So I think, we're on the cusp of starting to do more things like this. So I mentioned psychodermatology before. There is a handful of people who practice psychodermatology who are dermatologists in the UK. There's a lot more focus on breath work and lymphatic drainage through facial massage. And I think there's a lot more of that in the UK as well. I'm listening to a book which is written by a doctor, and he focuses on psychology, but he also has a passion in dermatology. And he talks about the connectiveness of skin and gut and mental health. So I think that we are very much on the cusp of discovery of how we can, you know, how we can deal with our nervous system and our skin holistically through facial massage, and also being intentional with how we take care of this part of our body to, really look
Mhm.
after our soul on a holistic level. So I think, we've really just opened the door, and this will keep on growing. It will become a lot more mainstream because, like I said before, we're busy people. So finding something that is efficient and effective to start bringing things down when things go up, and finding that space, that place of homeostasis, that is something that people are going to reach for more and more and more because,
100%.
we're working from home, we're dialed in all the time, we're entrepreneurs, we're mums, we're working in corporate offices, we're trying to study, we're doing 100 things at once, and
Yeah.
so the workload isn't going away. But
It
we
really
are
is not.
starting to think about
100%.
different ways that we yeah. So I think we're really at the cusp of things. There's a couple of books that came out literally within the last 5 years of the studies around it. So I'm just going to keep on working on it, and if I can link up with people who are in the industries and start learning and sharing more, I think this is
Mhm.
going to get big.
Well, I have no doubt. Honestly, I think yeah, you're totally right. The door is just coming open, and watch this space. Absolutely. Last couple of things. I want you to tell me a little bit about what do you think the most rewarding part of doing what you do is? Like, what is the thing that lights you up the most?
Yeah. Okay. So something that makes me feel really it drives me to do it a lot more harder and with a lot more passion. But seeing someone leave the space uplifted,
Mm.
I've had clients tell me that something that I've shared has really connected with them and has changed their mindset and the
Just
way
got
that they think.
goosebumps.
I know. And yeah, and also being there to I know a lot of people say hold space, and I honestly I hate that term, but like being able to give someone love when they don't get it. So if I get an elderly client who comes in and you're getting your head massage and they're getting their head massaged and their chest massage, you would only receive head touches, head pats, usually from someone you love. It's some inner child stuff. your partner would touch your head and touch your face to give you love. Your
Yes.
mum, your parents would touch your face to give you love. But actually getting that when you can't get it anymore has been something that's really just like gives me
Wow.
goosebumps, being able to deliver that to somebody because they just needed it so much. And, you know, we've had people who've had who've cried from it, or like they've released something, or they've just taken a weight off their shoulders because they've been able to experience that. So that's I
That's
could
awesome.
not get that anywhere else. So
Yeah. I feel that. I mean, same for me. Like, you know, once you find what your inner passion is, I think, and you can deliver that, and you can see it's less for ourselves and it's more for what we, you know, it can achieve for someone else. I think, you know, there's something said about giving that to people is, you know, sometimes all the reward you need, all the reward you need. Okay.
absolutely.
Anything else you want to share with the listeners, like around, like where do we find you again? Give us the address.
Yeah, so I am at 108 La Trobe Terrace in Paddington. So it is the Workwell Health Centre, dead on the corner, beautiful location, very relaxed and vibey in here. So you can also find me at www.babotanics.com. My Instagram handle is BaBotanics, and also if you put in BaBotanics into Google, you're not going to find anything else because it's such a weird name, but it's BaBotanics.
Yeah, you guys have got to
So easy to find, easy to book.
check out Jess's socials. Gosh, you'll really get a vibe for what these facials are. They are next level. It's not what you imagine a facial to be. This is different. You have to check this out. I can't wait to experience my first one. I messaged Jess and I told her that
I can't wait for you to come in.
I know, and I told my husband, I was like, you need to give me this for Mother's Day, but I think I'm not going to want to wait that long. I might need to book sooner. You've just sold me. I'm like, I feel like I need to try all of them out. I probably need every single one of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and chatting and sharing a little bit about what you do. I'm sure there are lots of people out there that are like intrigued and ready to sign up for a intuitive facial from you because, you know I am. And also for just sharing a little bit about your biz and like what you're creating because I think it is super special. It's such a vibe. Like even going in to the space when we were working together, getting it ready, I was just like, it's a vibe, Jess. It's a complete vibe. And it so links in with what you're doing. So I think, you know, congratulations. It's like, I think it's a really special thing that you're doing. Well, that's it, guys.
Thank you so
Thanks
much,
again,
and thank
Jess.
you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.